What is going on, everybody? Bob29 back in the lounge yet again. Make sure to kick back, relax, and grab some snacks because today it is volume number 15 of the Round Table Podcast. Yes, indeed, we are back. There is plenty of things to talk about that have taken place in the past 2 weeks. But before we start doing any of that, we're going to go through, as we always do, and go around the round table and introduce ourselves. So as always, you know me, I'm the host, Bob29, leader of TNM, and host of the podcast. Next up, I have with me someone that I'm super stoked has been here so frequently. And I know I always say that he represents the riffraff, but I'm starting to think that he's very slowly inching into the penthouse the more that we talk. It is Mr. B-Rock Gaming. So, B-Rock, what's going on there, brother?
Good morning, everybody. Not a full-time job. And as a member of not a full-time job, just remember to send your tax information to Bob29. We need to get this done by the 15th so we can stay
Please,
in business.
please don't right now. Unless you want to pay like some crazy late fees, please don't send me more work to do. It has been such a hellhole of a few weeks right now for me. I have been staying up until 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, 5 in the morning in the middle of the week, just churning out work or trying to get content done. It has been tough, real tough.
Well, I just want everybody to know that Bob was able to help me get about 10 grand back because I filed Champions as an expense.
Listen, there's always creative accounting, okay? That's what we'll leave it as. Anyway, thank you, B-Rock. I also have with me, I want to say B-Rock's partner in crime, but I feel like that's just my own skewed outlook because B-Rock is the one who introduced me to this very awesome individual. Also from the same neck of the woods, it is Mr. Chris. So, Chris, what's going on? I know sometimes you said you might be silent today, but hopefully you're not silent right now.
All good right now. Hello, everyone. Chris Brown from Not a Full-Time Job. And it's not necessarily B-Rock's partner in crime. It's the one who keeps B-Rock grounded, like the fact that he is indeed in the penthouse.
Did you just say Chris Brown, by the way? Are you?
Yeah, what do you think the B stood for?
Oh, are you gonna break out into song and dance over here for us?
Only if you want to start crying with how bad it is.
I mean, listen, the viewers might need that. You know, what we'll do is, since Envy is a man of the people and looks out for the viewer of the week, because I'm not calling it what he calls it, he might have to gauge some interest from everybody out there. But yeah, thank you, Chris, as well. And also joining us today, as you heard her laughing about it already, it is Miss Kitsu Shell. Did I get that right this time, Shell?
Are you never going to let that go?
No, never.
Kitsu Shell here from the new ministry. Still spreading my friend Eva Envy's top lane Jinder supremacy.
You were thinking about spreading Evo there for a second, huh?
What the hell, Bob? I was thinking of Evo because I miss Evo, my BFF in the game, because he retired.
Yeah. It's also great that it's still in your name on this server, too.
It is. That's my legacy for him.
Yeah, that's awesome. But yes, awesome to have you here, Shell. And of course, as always, certainly last but never least, the man who will literally move the heaven and hell itself to make sure that he shows up for the podcast. It is the heart, it is the soul, it is the South Side Envy.
Southside Envy, and this podcast has got rid of the DEI regulations. So, from the new ministry, I'm back, baby. And this week's Warrior of the Week is the Big Show 827, who not only commented this week, but also subscribed to my channel after the Top Lane Jinder video dropped. So, gotta be Warrior of the Week on that one. And also in the comments, just wanted to mention this. If you want background on Little Rock 1822, you can find all that in the comments too. So
Envy.
check out the podcast videos.
Envy. What are we doing here?
Looking out for the Warriors, that's what I'm doing.
Wait.
There's so many
Wait a minute.
moving parts.
Hold on. Southside Envy representing where?
The new ministry, I'm back.
His intro, B-Rock, in case you didn't hear it. And this is something I need to touch on. TNM never had a DEI requirement.
I'm talking about this podcast had a DI requirement. You're trying to be diverse, have different factions, and it's out the window now.
Oh my god.
I was free to come home.
Oh, jeez. Envy, you've been on this podcast for like half a year straight.
In other factions, I was in the nude ministry. I was in You're on the List. Great faction, by the way. And now I am back in the new ministry.
Oh my god.
I was poached. I was poached.
I was poached. Oh my god. Okay. All right. Well, on that note, okay. Let me start documenting a couple things here, just for my own safety. Oh my god. Okay. So, oh man, I'm trying to think how I can spin this.
All right, so in honor of National Signing Day, hey Chris, we might as well join the new ministry. might as well at this point, because everybody's jumping ship.
Can Tubob afford us?
Oh my god! Hey, listen. I don't do payroll. All right, reach out to HR. They're open from 12 to 12:01.
Well, now that Southside just,
Listen, B-Rock, I'll figure something out for you.
Thanks, hon.
You got it.
All right, now before this thing absolutely takes off, let's go ahead and talk about our first topic, which is actually the last event of last month. The Then, Now, Together, Forever MLC is currently, as of this recording, and as you can see on your screen, for those of you that are watching the playback on YouTube, that is currently behind us. But it doesn't mean that we can't talk about it. So that was, for those of you that do not remember, the Mami's on Top Now boss battle. And boy, oh boy, was that a weekend. So Mami's on Top, Rhea Ripley makes her way to the game. She is a 5,000 shard recruit. She also had a gear, which is the Survivor Series 2024 gear with the like bone mask that has horns on it and all that stuff. Looks real badass. Gives her +4 MP. And the prize wall itself was actually pretty huge for boss battle for once. So the Stone Cold versus The Rock moment was there. The Dominic Mysterio betrays Rhea Ripley moment, which was the moment on the month that people were doing the armory loot for. That whole moment was on that wall as well. The beer bath moment was there, which I know a lot of folks feel like they missed out on when it first came out, so a lot picked that one up. The Hall of Fame 2017, which is the Hall of Fame JBL and Ron Simmons moment, is there. And the Wyatt Six versus American Made moment. That was the big ticket moment when it first came out. $900 on the portal to guarantee it, or you had to get lucky and pull it out of the loot. So lots of moments there. Shards were pretty decent, nothing crazy. They did have Uncle Howdy and King General Gunther shards, But aside from that, it was mainly the A tier and B tier posters and shards from prior months. So for those of you that were missing out on those characters from the past, they were available there. And there were also some tier 6 medals available in that boss battle event. So, nothing really crazy to talk about here in terms of like the solo contest, the competition, and all that, unless someone else wants to bring it up in terms of the CSS and all of that. But I'm curious what everybody's thoughts are on all of it, on the new Rhea, the new gear, the big ticket prize wall, and obviously, like we always do, we kind of focus heavy on boss battle. So what was everyone's experience with boss battle last month? I will share, I guess, my thoughts real quick while everyone gets ready for theirs. I think Rhea is fantastic. I think she is effortlessly the best showboat female in the game, with or without gear, and that's saying a lot. I'm stoked that we have yet another amazing Rhea Ripley, and I thought the prize wall was actually pretty kind for a lot of players out there. For people that felt like they missed out on the Austin moment versus The Rock, there was 1 out of the 3 tokens there. For people that felt like they missed out on the beer bath moment, that was a huge pick-me-up. For people that feel like they didn't commit enough to the armory loot for the entire monthly to get the betrayal moment, I think that was awesome that was there for those folks, even though I myself felt like an idiot for committing as much as I did during the month to get it from the armory loot contest. But I thought it was good for people that wanted to still get it. And the Wyatt 6 versus American Made moment, that moment is pricey, but it's good that they have it there. It's good that they made it available. So I think it was a solid weekend in terms of possibly getting Mami's on top, possibly getting the gear, and definitely getting at least another moment added to someone's account. I know that, like, as a big time moment chaser, or whatever you'd like to call me, right? Like big game hunter type of thing for moments, that this wall would have been great for me if I couldn't get one of these by just a sliver, you know? So huge win from my opinion for that. Stoked that they made tier 6 medals available. I know that they're supposed to be in boss battle, so I was thrilled with that. And my own personal outlook on boss, like, it was another boss. I was able to absolutely crush the boss. I'm not going to say solo, but practically everything but like 200 or 300 mil I could solo, so it was good. Excuse me. Anybody else on the boss?
I think this was the best event of the month. In my eyes, the prize wall was great. The boss, honestly, for this one wasn't that hard. Showboat Asuka absolutely dominated. I was clearing it by myself because I was doing like way over what the amount was for health-wise, just turn 1. But I ended up getting the Dominic moment and the beer bath moment off the prize wall myself. That was a very successful weekend. Easily the best one in the MLC.
That's impressive to say that you think it's the best of, more than the zombies, more than the punk, more than everything else on the month, huh?
Yeah, I think just because of the it was pretty accessible for everyone, and just the improvement of the prize wall. I thought that prize wall was just such a huge improvement over the other ones we had been seeing for the month in terms of what everyone can get. So I just thought it was a great way to end the month, especially because I don't think a lot of people enjoyed the month overall.
Yeah, that month was a toughie. Last month was definitely a toughie, and we'll get into that in our next point. I know you mentioned the steel cage, Chris, and the change from last month to this month, and we'll definitely get into some grandiose details there. But yeah, I mean, look, I think that was a good way to sort of round out and end the month. Gives people what they've been looking for in terms of tier 6s. gives people maybe what they have been looking for historically in terms of moments that they couldn't reach. So I can see it. Best of the month. It's a high bar, but I could see it. I very well could see it.
For me, I wouldn't go as far as best of the month, but the boss battle itself was pretty easy. It's nice to get back to turn one in the boss with people, and also not having to use all these boss breakers to try to get by with characters that you don't really have the boss breakers level up. Because the women's thing isn't really as well, it's frequent now, but it wasn't as frequent as back in the day. So the boss breakers being leveled up, all the boss currency was wasted on some of the men in the past. So it's nice to not have to go dip into that. Oscar made it easy work. The prize wall was kind of tricky. Had I not watched your prize wall review video, I might have got suckered into that Stone Cold Rock moment that you needed 3 chips for, and I would only have one and been short. And then I also thought about the Dirty Dom moment, and I said, I'm not going to use those characters too much, so I passed on that. I just tried to get closer to Gunther, which now I'm about 245 away. So I feel like I can get Gunther in a month or two if he keeps on popping up.
That's actually sick that you're that close to Gunther. And he's fantastic. But
So
go on, Sean.
I was gonna say I am a person that does not usually watch videos for characters that I do not have, because better seen and not thought about if I don't have them. But I did watch your video on Rhea, and she looks phenomenal, and I don't have her, but I'm close to her, so maybe we'll see in the next month or so, depending on how many shards they make available. So I did take her gear, even though I don't have her yet. It was hard. It was a hard choice because there was like I think there was 2 or 3 moments that I didn't have. But I was like, I think for my roster, the gear for Rhea, which I will get her at some point, was, a better choice. The boss was fun.
Very, very smart.
One of the first times somebody ever said that to me about this game. Let me finish that sentence. I'm known for just being more impulsive than actually thinking things through, but I'm trying to learn. You can teach an old dog new tricks sometimes. But I worked during the weekend boss battle. So I was able, thankfully, to hop on, get my skills on, participate my best for my faction, and then, come home and grind some 23s. Yeah, because it was fun for the most part, when everything's working as it should, like a greased wheel, makes it much more enjoyable experience.
Yeah, that's a fact.
You just need everybody to show up.
You just need everybody to show. Yeah, I mean, look, it is what it is. We all know what happened. It's unfortunate, but the boss itself, like I was saying, it didn't seem difficult, right? Even though there was no skill plates, it didn't seem terribly difficult. And thank you both for the comments on the videos. I appreciate it. Hopefully, and that's the point, right? That's at least my point of making these videos, is that people can actually take something away from it, and they can, whether they learn something from that moment, like Envy's talking about the 3 tokens instead of 1, or going, hey, I really like this character, I kind of want to make sure that I have the gear for her when I get her eventually down the road. And it's like, yeah, to be honest, it's actually a really great choice, right? Like, she essentially, with that gear, is permanent 99 MP for everything that is not her submission or her finisher. And like that, the idea of being able to just use any move that you want on a character is awesome. Like, that is a sweet feeling. So yeah, definitely some solid outcomes there on the weekend for the both of you. I think. B-Rock, last and certainly not least here either. I want to hear your extended, long-winded feedback of Boss Battle. Lay it on me.
Believe it or not long-winded, not even extensive. I have to agree with everybody at this point because Boss Battle was more faction friendly, and y- does it mean that we some people could carry by themselves or get close to carrying? It made Boss Battle not a struggle like the rest of the month. It was not some Herculean effort to get to certain points with Boss Battle. So I think 90 of our 93 members got to 400, maybe 89 or 90. So almost everybody maxed. So it made it really really fun, not so taxing on trying to get it completed.
I'm sorry. Hold on, just 1 second here. I need to clean my ears out just for just a brief moment. Did I just hear B-Rock say that Boss Battle was fun? Was that a thing?
Yeah, I actually, believe it or not, I actually enjoy Boss Battle. It's just that unfortunately the last couple have been Steel Cage and whatever else that they decided to throw in there. So it may not seem like I like it, but I actually do like it.
Huh. I I just want to make sure I'm not in the Twilight Zone, that's all. Um, so you actually enjoyed Boss Battle. You had fun playing Boss Battle.
When everybody can play, absolutely.
Okay.
So, like again, sometimes it's a little difficult when you're looking at members and they're just like, look, I just don't have it. And it's like, okay, let's try to bring some, they're trying their best, but again, the, being, the people's champ and the man of the people, the average person may not have a six-star gold Oscar. So you had a lot of people who are just like, look, I can break greens, but if you got four people who can only break greens, you're not beating the boss at all.
No, of course.
So it was just one of those things where I think this one was a little bit easier for the masses, and I think that it might have been a little boring for some of the top factions, but for like the middle tier and down, I think this was easier for them to score.
Interesting. Interesting stuff, Mr. B-Rock. I am in shock and awe that you enjoyed a boss battle.
I know you were waiting for like cornucopia of ass, but I
I
didn't
I
bring that
was
out.
I was absolutely waiting for you to just start absolutely
Nope.
crap posting. Boss battle sucks, and we gotta change this, and we gotta fix that.
No, it was they actually did it somewhat right.
Wow, that's amazing. Okay, so your boss battle experience was good, which I am still in shock that I'm hearing that. What did you think about everything else on the weekend? So, thoughts on the prize wall? Anything there that you or the faction got? And what about Rhea? Any looking into possibly getting her down the road or the gear? Any of that stuff?
So when it comes to Rhea, I'm just leaving it alone. If I get her, I get her.
Okay.
Um, One of the things that I will say, and this will probably tie into part of our next point, is I had so many people reach out to me asking, did they miss something? I sent you a screenshot, and I had about 15 people in my faction 50 shards away from Live
Oh,
at
from
the end of
Revenge Tour.
at the end of the month, and most of them are free to play. And I'm like, wait a minute, you can't recruit 3,000 free to play anymore.
Mm,
So I had about 15 people and 50 shards short on Tech Live.
yeah,
So
that's tough.
I think, I guess, with whatever changes were made, because I'm not privy to that. You may be, but I think we were short on shards.
I'm not sure. So like again, right? I obviously can only say so much, but the transparency is that I don't know what happened or what changed. I saw a lot of people talking about that same thing. Like I saw a lot of players mentioning that they were not going to get her. They were close, but they weren't going to recruit her. And then
Hmm.
there's always some folks out there who are like, yeah, I didn't do anything different this month, and I was 300 shards over, or something like that. And so I think it's because all of these data points are so different that there's no real kind of like tying it down to one thing or being one off or something like that. So I don't know why. I can agree with you that it definitely seems like a lot more people did not get the 3,000 shard recruit that month, but I can't pinpoint down why. I am truly ignorant to it.
Well, I actually was, talking to some of my members, and it's literally that if you didn't have Ron Simmons, Sammy, uh, the new Tech Cena, if you didn't have those CSS to do that. Now, see, this is where you get the other guy here. If you didn't get that stupid, dumbass weekly 3 tours for
Oh, the throwback tours.
the throwback tours, because you got to remember, each one of them had 17, 10, and something else in regards to live shards. So if you didn't have the contest superstar from 2 or 3 months ago, you missed out on all those shards.
Yep, the throwback tours.
And I think that's kind of where a big portion of it came from. That some of the free to play people missed out on. So to wrap this up, I would have liked to see them throw a little bit of those shards in that prize wall. That would have been my only things, because you knew that it was going to be short for a lot of people, because they became paywall, those shards.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that I will say, and not to like kind of jump ahead, but thankfully, this current weekend event does have some of her shards available. I think they've been, I don't want to say friendly or any of that type of stuff because it's a weird way of saying it, but I think they've been more generous in terms of realizing when players are just shy of recruiting a character, and then they bring it back the very next month or the month afterwards in another prize wall or in something like that. So hopefully, a lot of those players who were close and didn't recruit live will be able to after this weekend is said and done. That I am hopeful and looking forward to that personally. Um, all right. Anyone else's thoughts on this weekend, or not this weekend? My apologies. The boss battle weekend that we had, the final weekend of the then now together forever MLC. Going once, going twice. And it's sold to the new MLC. That's right, y'all. It is Viva La Mania, which, boy, oh boy, it's something. A brand new MLC is upon us, and it is Viva La Mania. Lots and lots and lots of changes. As the blog says, Vegas, get ready. Here we come for the grandest stage of them all, WrestleMania 41. In this month, we get a brand new addition to the game. It is Jesse the Body Ventura. He is the freebie character at B tier. We also get another Alexa Bliss added to the game, Twisted Bliss. She is the A tier character, so she is a 2,000 shard recruit. And we have not one, but two new characters, brand new, special edition John Cena. So there is the special edition Acro, which is the Chain Gang, and there's the special edition Hustle, Loyalty, and Respect, which is the Showboat. So for those of you that have played our game and know that the OG Showboat Cena is Hustle, Loyalty, Respect, and the OG Acro Cena is Chain Gang Cena, there are now special edition holographic versions of these characters. They are the same class, they are the same era, they are the same graphic, but they are entirely different characters, and ones that are going to be very, very, very strong. For those of you that are watching on the YouTube playback, you'll see that I have special edition John Cena Chain Gang on the screen here. He is the top lane for this upcoming feud. These Cenas are definitely tiered for the 6-star gold meta, have entirely different moves and coaches, but their era, their class, and their style are all the same. So something to keep in mind as we move forward. There is also one other character that we have an adjustment on this month, a revamp on this month, and that is why it is called Viva La Mania, because Viva La Raza Eddie got a revamp. For those of you that have ever watched me or my content, or you've been in a voice chat with me, you're aware that Eddie is definitely my favorite wrestler ever. And it was a huge letdown to see what they did to him this month. I don't think, as much as I know, that it's the worst revamp they have done in recent history. This is up there with, like, and it's been pointed out, it's pretty much up there with the World of TLO Takers update. It's bad. Like, it's really, really bad. It's been mentioned numerous times how bad it is. They already updated his hot tag move, and it's still cheeks. It's not good. It's just not. And then apparently something else that happened, which part of what B-Rock was saying about, send your taxes to Bob and all this stuff. Something that I noticed in the middle of the night while I was fucking doing recordings, the OG Showboat Cena and Chain Gang Cena, the OG Showboats and Acros, also got revamped. Why do I know this? Because Showboat Cena has countdown gems on him, and countdown gems weren't even a thing when Showboat Cena was in the game. So he has new moves, and so does the original Chain Gang non-special edition. Chain Gang Cena also has new moves, including 1 MP moves for blue, and I think 3 MP moves for yellow. So they gave him a huge MP reduction as well as a change on his moves. So before we go into all of the MLC Changes, which is a lot of them, as we've already alluded to earlier in the podcast. We'll talk about the steel cage side of things too, as I know Chris is probably chomping at the bit to talk about. But for now, let's just stick on the characters. So we got a brand new Jesse, which we've never had one of him before. We got a new Alexa Bliss. We got 2 holographic John Cenas. We got 2 revamped John Cenas and a revamped Eddie Guerrero, all within a week. So, a lot of characters to talk about. Anybody want to take the floor on any of them? Or all of them? Doesn't matter to me one bit.
Me.
Go for it, Shell.
I want to point out how excited I was when I saw that we were getting Jesse the Body Ventura.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was one of my favorite personalities. Maybe not one of my favorite wrestlers, but on the mic, he was one of the best commentators in the history. I was disappointed to see that he's not good. He's not good. I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna be happy he's in the game. And then I went and I got a 7 pull, and I did a 7 pull, and I pulled him at 6-star bronze.
Awesome.
Which was it's a great start to the month. Like, this is great. And then I'm like, I could help my faction out even more with these kickoff tours and get bonus points. And I'm like using him, and I'm like, am I doing something wrong? Like, why is he just? And then later that night, I'm talking to you, Bob, and we're talking, and I'm like, wow, he's just not great.
Yeah.
And then we were talking about Eddie, and I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah.
So they were a little disappointing.
Yeah.
A little disappointed in Jesse. Still, he looks great. I'm happy he's in the game. But still, ugh.
It's funny to me. The whole look of Jesse is really funny to me. It's like when you look at him on the roster screen, right? Like if you go to your roster and then you actually search him up and you look at him and you can sprint him around, and it's like he's got this visor on, he's got the hat on, like, all right, cool. And then he goes into the ring and he just looks like a bald Chris Jericho. Like it's just so funny.
I'm disappointed that he didn't have a feather boa. That's all. Maybe we'll get a gear for him at some point. I don't know. But he needed a feather boa.
Maybe. We'll see. They used to give the free characters gears, but who knows? All right. Lots of characters to talk about. Who else wants to drop their thoughts here?
Well, I'll go on the Eddie revamp. So, I don't remember what he was like before, so I wasn't really sure about what the revamp happened, but the part of the revamp that I kind of do like is the hot tag. So when we had to use them in the showdown, or we didn't have to, but we were able to use them in the showdown and see the hot tag, I didn't quite understand how the hot tag worked. At first I thought maybe he's in the ring and you get the tag out real quick with him. No, that's not how it works. Then I was saying maybe he has to be outside the ring and get the tag in with him really quick. Maybe. I don't know. I can't really tell. But when you do tag him in, though, that board fills up with leech gems. Leech gems. And if you got a leech gem requirement, you can at least knock down the board one good time with that leech gem move to take it all away. And hey, at least, you can knock those leech requirements quickly, and you don't have to wonder who does leech gems. Hot tag Eddie is the answer. And you'll have him at 6-star gold at the end of the month, hopefully. And you can do this to your heart's content.
Yeah, the hot tag feature is an interesting one. And there was really no info on it from anybody. So when we got them revamped and updated and all this, a lot of the content creators were like, how's this supposed to work? Because there was no comment on it anywhere. And then it took a little fine-tuning of people kind of searching around and looking around to see how the tag worked. It's like, okay, what's supposed to happen is if he's the tag partner, your counter, instead of being at 3, should start at 1. Alright? And then when you tag him in, the leech gems should generate on the board for him to be able to tag in and break all the leech gems. Like, okay, cool. And that took a bit to find out. It's still a bit glitchy, because if you tag, I guess, with certain characters or certain matches, it just doesn't reduce the tag counter from 3 to 1. It's supposed to, but it just doesn't sometimes. No clue as to the rhyme or reason or what the cause is. And then the leech gems, if you're not at 6-star gold, prior to their update, they were doing like 10k a piece. And it's like, what are we doing here with 10k leech gems? Like, this is a joke, right? Like, this is your new revamped character. Even if you make the whole board full, and you break the whole board full, and you do 500,000 damage, are we getting ready to compete for 4-star silver and 4-star golds here? Like, that's what we revamped this character for, was 4 stars? So yeah, it was just a huge letdown. Post update on them, yeah, they're better. It does 10 mil and then turns the whole board, I think, into like strength 200k leech gems or something like that. Maybe 250. I don't know the exact number. So it's better. And it's good for like showdown tasks if you have to break leech gems, right? That's a great way to do it. But yeah, man, it for me at least, and for a lot of other folks, that Eddie revamp really was just stinky, to put it kindly. I know B-Rock, you wanna get at this one, huh? What's your outlook on some of these characters?
So, as we all were waiting for, the Eddie revamp is a cornucopia of ass. It is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, we go from, and I said it before, I'll say it again, and there's nobody who can change my mind. The best revamp that this company has done is Striker Austin 316.
Yeah.
You go from, hey everybody, we're gonna give you a Porsche for free.
Mm-hmm.
Then we get Latino Heat Eddie Viva la Raza la crap.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, the revamp is only good for one thing. It's only good for Showdown. He's horrible at Boss. He's horrible at Feud. He's horrible at Tours. So you revamp somebody for one game mode and you rolled them out and said, hey, brand new revamp this month. Get him at 6-star gold. Okay. That's giving me a Porsche with no engine. You gave me something and you're saying, yeah, that's what we're giving you, but it don't work. It's broke.
Yeah, they don't do nothing.
The only time I can get my Porsche is if I'm driving it downhill and we got to push it first. It doesn't work. And you know, I am not gonna bash Scopely this month because this month so far has been really good.
Yep.
And the way the outlook for the month is set is really good.
Yep.
Something, there's got to be hopefully there's like a I'm your poppy shirt gear coming to where it'll maybe it'll do 500% for leech gems. Maybe there's got to be something to make him usable. I'm not even saying good. At 6-star gold, going up against a 6-star gold, you're getting crushed.
100%. 100% of the time.
For Shell, I'm gonna tell you this, and I posted this in my faction. Jesse is the first character I think that requires 6-star medals. That's the only way that he's going to be usable. He's gotta have 6-star medals because I'm all about new characters. I'm all about having them in the game. I looked at that and I was just like, wow.
Well,
Yeah.
I guess thankfully I have an abundance of those.
Yeah. I think somebody said we don't like Jesse. This is what we're gonna do because it's rough, and I don't think it's rough as a character. I just think it's rough as a gameplay,
Yeah. So
and it's not fluid. He's kind of like Ric Flair. He's kind of like Showboat Ric Flair.
yeah.
The gameplay is just off.
The
He's
thing
not
that I
going to be fast.
noticed,
Anything.
the thing that I noticed with him and Bull, they're both B tiers, but they're both characters that players, really wanted in the game. And I feel like that was a way to appease everybody where it's like, hey, you wanted this character. Here you go. You can get him for free, but they're not going to be good. That's exactly how I felt with both of them. And maybe I'm wrong on that, but that I feel like enough people were like, we want new characters. We want new individualistic, like, whatever you want to call them, right? Like characters, right? Gimmicks. And that's who these people are. And I think in the back of their mind, it's like, well, they'll be happy. They'll be happy to get this new character. It doesn't matter if they're good or not. Someone's just going to be happy to have Bull Nakano on their account. They'll never use her. Someone will be happy to have Jesse the Body Ventura on their account. They'll never use him, but they have him. Like, that type of feeling, right? Maybe just me, but that's how I felt about that big time.
I just wanted to say this. There's a difference between Bull and Jesse because my Bull is awesome. I have the bells and whistles to make her really fun, and she's 3 clicks and is doing huge damage. At the same time, I have not figured out how to make just. I think there's yes. Is she a top 3 women's powerhouse? No, she's top 5 easy. And the blast gems with a Titan plate and some other stuff. She's very, very usable, and she can get the job done. And she recycles. So for me, she's above average because I have the stuff to make her work.
Okay.
I don't know what it's gonna take to make Jesse work.
No, yeah, I spent a lot of time on that preview, probably more than I should have. And don't get me wrong, I can hit 75 mil, but like that's at gold, not at silver. That is specifically against a striker. It's tough. Like, it is very tough. And the idea that you have to try so hard and put so much effort into barely scraping the surface against one class, essentially. And like the investment that you need of such super expensive setups and skill plates, it's like, okay, so in the middle lane, which is already requiring the middle lane rarity of character, which is typically not the most common thing, and then needing Santa, and then needing a skill plate that is expensive or not easy to come by, or just you have to be RNG lucky to do it. And now after you've had all of that, you have to fight a striker. It's like, man, that is a lot of effort. Like, a lot of effort to make him just barely passable for doing 70 million damage. Like, that's way, way too much effort to have to go through that for that little return. So, yeah, Jesse, definitely a miss, to put it very, very, very kindly. Just not, it's not it, champ. The other thing, too, I was going to say, B-Rock, the whole Eddie thing, and maybe it's not just me being wrong thing, maybe because like I've heard from numerous people now. So last month was the Then Now Together Forever month, right? And last month we were given why am I drawing a blank on the Armory character?
Rhea?
Rhea. It was Judgment Day Rhea. And so Judgment Day Rhea got a revamp last month, and then we got a new Mommy's on Top Rhea, right? And then the month before, we ended up getting it's what the Party in the 90s month is what it was called, something like that. And that was the Veteran Salute Cena revamp. And then we got a Hip Hop Cena added to the game. The month before that was Hall of Fame month, where Goldberg had already been revamped, but he was the character they gave out in the Armory loot, and we got a Hall of Fame Goldberg added to the game that month. And then the month before that, it was what was it called? Like the year-end month? I don't know what it is, but it's Christmas month. And R-Truth Acro was the loot character there that they gave away for free, up to 6-star gold on that monthly. And they came out with a new R-Truth. And then I believe it was the month before that was Rowan Powerhouse that they came out with. And Rowan Rabbit was the one that they came out with as a new character. So the trend has been the character that you can get up to 6-star gold, they come out with a new version of later on in that month. And I believe it dates back to the Rowan month, and before that was like zombies or something, right? But if everybody's been spot on with that, then in theory, since Eddie was the one who got revamped and given out in the Armory Loot contest this month, it leads people to believe that there might be another Eddie in the pipeline this month. And so I'm not sold on it because, you know me, I'm very skeptical when it comes to this game and a lot of those types of outlooks and thoughts. There's a lot new going on this month, so maybe it's the month that they don't do it. And I'm also a diehard Eddie Mark, where I don't really want to get my hopes up and be like, there's no Eddie after all. But it seems like there might be a chance that there's a new Eddie somewhere down the road this month. So I'm not really sure, but it seems like there could be a chance that there's another Eddie in the pipeline. And boy, oh boy, am I hopeful that there is.
So you went a long way to get your hopes up. You know that, right?
I'm hoping. I'm not expecting a damn thing, but I'm hoping. Chris, I don't think I've heard from you on any of these new characters. Any thoughts on any of the newbies?
So I'm just happy that Jesse's in the game. I like him. I'm one of those people. I'm just happy to have him. Would I like, if he was better? Obviously.
Of course.
But he is the free character, so I do have, lower expectations in terms of his power, just because he's the free character. Um, I'm happy for the new Alexa. Alexa and Oscar are my favorite female superstars. So I'm happy we're getting a new Alexa, one who is much better, obviously, than her previous ones, because she hasn't had a new one for a while. Very happy about that. The new Cenas, the holographics, uh, you know, they're great characters. I'm fine with them. I just don't want this to become a trend that gets in the way of releasing new superstars. I don't just want revamp, not necessarily revamps. I do want cards to be revamped, but I don't want special editions of cards we already have to take over the game.
Right, you're not looking forward to you're not looking forward to holographic head at the table type of thing.
Yeah.
Right.
And then in terms of Eddie is garbage. It's very unfortunate because we've had so many great revamps. They've been hitting out of the park with the past, few revamps. I do agree with B-Rock. Steve Austin is the best one.
Yes.
And that was fantastic. But Rhea was great. And it's then we get Eddie's and it's Scopely, what happened?
Yeah.
What did you do? This is terrible. He's still not usable. He still sucks. And it's very unfortunate because we do need a good Eddie in the game. We don't have one. And I think a lot of people would be happy to get a good Eddie.
Yeah.
But overall, I am pretty excited about the new characters this month. I'm hoping we'll get a couple more obviously dropped towards the end. And maybe we'll get to see Whale Bob because a new Eddie comes out.
No, that's not we're not hoping for that. Come on. What? No. We're not hoping for Whale Bob to make a return. That's horrible news. Don't say that.
All these billable hours that he's putting in right now, we are going to end up with Whale Bob if the participants who I guess they have the tinfoil hats who jumped down the rabbit hole can say that, yeah, this is what's coming.
If the prophecy is fulfilled.
There you go. There we go.
Yeah, I mean, look, I hate to say it, man. I spent so much money on this Viva La Raza Eddie when he very first hit the game. It was insane, and didn't have his gear for the longest time. It was finally on one of the midweek prize walls that we had, the month-long midweeks before they got rid of those. And I was like, there is no way. It was 800 or 400 prize wall, something like that. I'm like, I don't care how many prize wall I come away with this month, whether it's 1,000 or 30,000 or whatever it is. I'm walking away with that gear. And that was the first thing that I bought, the most inexpensive thing. And I didn't care if it messed up anything else for any of my plans on the prize wall. And so I got his gear because that was a tough one for me. And I'm looking at it, right? And yeah, is he usable now? To a certain extent, yeah. I can maybe use him to beat up 6-star bronzes. Maybe 6-star silvers if I'm lucky. But no, I'm never going to use him moving forward in the game outside of when there's an Eddie requirement. And even then, it's man, this is going to be a struggle. And it's going to be a reminder of this isn't good. This is just not fun. It'd be great if he was good, right? What I'm doing right now, I'm setting up my lineup for the people watching on YouTube. And to B-Rock's point, and Chris's supporting point too, Striker Austin is the best revamp they've had. Period. He just is. There's without a shadow of a doubt. He's in moments. He's got his new awesome setups. He's great with a sub and the bleed combo. He's fantastic with the yellows. He is great. He's great. Legitimately. One of the best strikers in the game. And so I will be using him this feud also. Because he is actually good enough for that. He's my striker spot, hysterically enough. So the idea would be yeah, if Eddie could have gotten a revamp that makes him good enough to be my trickster spot, like, that would be awesome. But he didn't. The flip side is, yeah, Eddie was essentially unusable before this month. No one was ever using him because he was just such a horrible character in the first place. He had like 3 or 4 MP steal moves and like a choose move that was just choosing gems and leech gems that were like 6,000 strength instead of 100, right? Like they didn't really do much other than try to give him moves that don't really help him. They're better than the MP Steel in a certain extent, but it's still not great. Honestly, and also again, I hate to sound negative about it because it's arguably the one bad thing on the month, which is crazy because so far this month is kick-ass, and again, we'll get into that in just a moment here. This month is great so far, and it really sucks to me. Just flat out, it sucks. This month is called Viva La Mania, and Viva La Raza Eddie is the worst part of the month. Like, how do you do that? That's what's crazy to me. I don't understand it. I can't comprehend it. It doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't. And no matter how many times it gets said by however many people, it's just bad. And like that's flat out what I said. I'm like, I don't know what words you need for me to say to understand this is shit. It sucks. People aren't gonna use him. He's not strong. Like, it's bad. I don't know what vocabulary I need to use or what language I need to speak for you to understand. This is just bad. In fact, like, it's just bad. So really not happy with that. Jesse the Body Ventura, as Shell and Chris have pointed out, the perfect example of what I was just talking about. People that are happy to have them on their account don't really care if he's good or not, because they're just happy to have him, and it makes sense, right? Like, who cares? This is you collected your character, you got the win, you have him on the account, and you know what? If he's ever required, you'll figure it out and find a way to use him if needed. And if not, no worries, you have him there for forever because you wanted him. Alexa, which I know we didn't really talk a whole lot about. Alexa's cool. I don't really know that I needed another Alexa this moment, but that's fine. It's always good to get a new updated Alexa. She's amazing for what it's worth. Arguably, I think up there for top trickster female in the game, and if not the top, she's easily podium. So huge win for everybody there that they just get a top 3 in the game, right? Like, just because she's an A tier, which is awesome that you get to walk away with that. The special edition John Cena's, the holographic Cena's I'm very on the same page with Chris on this. I think it's cool that they did it once in terms of Cena's going away. It's his farewell tour, happy they did it for him type of thing. But I really hate the idea that this is going to take over the replacement of new characters. Like, absolutely hate the idea that this is going to take over instead of new characters. Because, like, if this took place last month, who's to say that we ever got Jesse Ventura? Like, if this took place last month, then it takes place of what happens this month in terms of a new character. They'll just come out with new holographic, new special edition characters, and you're never going to see any new blood, so to speak, added to the game. Jesse will never exist in the game. And it doesn't matter. Forget his moves or not. It's just the idea of the character existing. He just wouldn't, right? So the idea for Cena, sure, I get it. Farewell tour, kind of awesome that they're doing so much for him and all this stuff. Like, I think it's great that he's going out the way that he can go out, but I don't like this holographic thing at all. At all. The final thing I will say, and I don't think anybody actually commented on it, the revamped Cenas. How many of you knew that either of those Cenas got revamped, by the way? Because I stumbled onto it at like 3 in the morning while making my own videos and leveling my characters up to get the special edition Cena out of the Blitz. Like, I didn't know that was a thing until I started looking at their moves, and I'm like, well, wait a second. Acro Cena never had 1MP moves. Showboat Cena never had countdown gems. Like, where did this come from? And so, what's crazy to me, too, is they had 2 silent revamps that never got mentioned anywhere. Whether it slipped through the cracks, or it was intentional, or whatever. Whether it was a Tech Asuka thing, like, you know, she got revamped and nobody knew about it. I don't know the reason behind it, or the why behind it. What's even more upsetting is that these revamped Cenas are just as good as Eddie, if not better. That's what's really upsetting. Is these Cenas from like 2016, 2017 are just as good as their revamped Viva La Raza Eddie and Viva La Mania month in April of 25. That's the one where it hits hard, and it's like, man, you guys are really hurting me here.
The reasoning behind the Cena revamp and telling about it, because they were trying to stand. The revamp description was laid out there, but you can't see me is what they told the community.
I asked about it. I was like, so when did this happen? Did anybody know about this? And I was told by one very snarky person, yeah, of course. And then everybody else was like, no, we had no clue. Looks like that missed the memo pool or something like that, where it turns out next to nobody got informed that the changes had taken place. And I was like, oh, so it took place and no one mentioned it. Weird. But nevertheless, a lot of new characters this month. Like, a lot, right? You got 4 new characters and 3 new revamps. And I am very hopeful, very, very hopeful at this point, that there can be a new Eddie to somehow save Eddie in this game. I am extremely hopeful that something happens. But yeah, that's it for me on characters. Anybody else with anything else to talk about the characters side of things for our new MLC before we get on to the structure of the MLC?
I guess I want to say something about the new special edition Cena that I had to get. It was destined for me to get him, and it made me disregard all the things that could have made it easier, like in the free 6-star gold Cena from the milestone, but had to go out and get him because he was essential for me getting top lane this weekend for Jinder. So I got him, I took him up, I tested him out. The triple red, leave him dead, except for when you can't match the cross breaks. Which is painful when it happens. I mean, you be out there, you be like, what? Oh, goddamn. So, I like the guy, but I'm probably going to have to find a new moveset, because that triple red, if it goes wrong, it goes really wrong.
Yeah. There's a super solid moveset with the yellow moves, which I'm just now realizing that my preview video never went live. So after the podcast recording here, I will go ahead and post that for everybody. But yeah, he's actually really good. Like, surprisingly good for a character that a lot of people are going to get for essentially next to no effort just by playing the game. So pretty excited in that regard, to be honest. Yeah, Cena's good. And I guess, you know what, Envy, now that I'm thinking about it, before we move on to our MLC talks, why don't you go ahead and hit us with your best top Jinder line promo Let's hear it.
Oh, so coming out this weekend, and y'all will see it in these streets. Top lane Jinder is outside, and if you ain't seen what the faction feud steals are, top lane Jinder got you inside. So he got the top bonus, he got the blue gem damage bonus, got the red gem damage bonus, which sets up the blues spamming the board. Oh, Jinder is gonna be in these streets all weekend, dishing out the hurt non-stop from top lane to top lane. And the only reason Jinder may leave the top lane is if I have to do some CSS in the meantime. But otherwise, it's non-stop top lane Jinder. When you see Natalie 616585 sitting across from you in the lineup, it's a problem.
Y'all heard it here first. Top Jinder line coming to a feud lineup near you.
Shell got one too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got Emmy's back.
Oh my god, yeah. I am not top gender lining at all this feud, that's for sure. That's just a me thing though, who knows. Anyway.
I might even record it. And put it on the channel. So stay tuned to my YouTube channel. There may be top lane Jinder feud action from this weekend.
Oh boy.
God almighty. Alright, well let's leave the top gender line out of this one now, I think. But definitely stay tuned for that awesome content that Enemy's gonna be dropping. But alright, let's move on to the rest of the MLC. So there's a lot of changes that have taken place from last MLC to this MLC. So outside of the new characters, which there's obviously a bunch, right? There's some crazy MLC changes. So the steel cage is now essentially gone. The only thing that we have steel cage remaining of is the feud bonuses, which, again, for those of you watching on YouTube, you'll see on your screen right now. The feud bonuses are essentially replacing the old school feud perks. So that's what we've got going on here. So there's a blue and red gem damage bonus, a reinforced leech cross and X break damage bonus. And they're all pretty sizable, right? It's not like 10 or 20%. It's 100 and 200%. So some huge numbers there. But aside from that, steel cage is gone. And also on to note, there's no debuffs here. There's no downside. So this is essentially just perks. It's just the bonuses. So nothing is being locked out of this feud. There's no skill plates, there's no trainers, there's nothing that's getting blocked off. So it's essentially just the structure that they implemented in order to give out all of those bonuses in one instance, instead of making people have to get perk slots and, you know, all that other type of stuff. So steel cage gone. The armory loot has changed. The armory loot has an entire overhaul and revamp. All of the max pulls on each of the types of armory loots now have guaranteed feature pulls. The titles loot at a 5 pull has a guaranteed super rare pull, which is a tier 6 medal. So all of that's been revamped. The price of the loots have also been adjusted. So the moments one stayed at 5k, the gear loot moved down from 10k to 2k, and the titles loot moved up from 1k to 2k. So definitely some adjustments being made there. However, the guarantees are definitely helping the players get those items that they're looking for a lot more frequently than they were experiencing the month prior. I myself have already done a couple of pulls on the titles loot. I haven't been lucky enough to hit any gem damage medals, which I think as of the time of this recording, that video is not live, and for those of you that don't watch every single video that I make, there you go. I just told you. Didn't really get too lucky on those, but I've seen a bunch of players that are getting lucky on them. So I'm still going for that. In the titles loot also, for those that are unaware, they have affiliation straps in the featured section, which is your guaranteed section. So they are either a 2-piece or a 4-piece affiliation. And then they actually have icons of WrestleMania straps all the way at the bottom. So your device might not show it, just in case the requirement drop down kind of stretches too far. But icons of WrestleMania is available in a strap for affiliations in that titles loot under the featured section, which you're guaranteed to get a featured every 15 pull. So new armory loot there. There's a new week-long structure instead of just the month-long structure. It is unfortunately too late now on Saturday. Instead of being Friday, the week-long event is gone to showcase it to all of you watching at home. But every week now there is a new contest that lasts the whole week long. There is no more Master Mangler event, as I used to love calling it. That is gone. And the other thing that they have done is there are new weekly prize walls. So there is now, instead of a monthly prize wall, weekly prize walls each and every week. And I will have to make a couple of these prize wall evals because I'm assuming that every one of them is going to have different items, is what the blog said they were going to have. But the most important thing to note is your prize wall does not carry over from week to week. So your week 1 prize wall does not carry over into week 2. Your week 2 prize wall doesn't carry over into week 3. If you go to in-game to your prize wall section and you scroll down to where the drop down of Viva La Mania 5-star prize wall is at, the prize wall that you get emblems for if you have a 5-star Jesse the Body Ventura, and you scroll all the way to the bottom of that shop, you will see the name of each week-long event in there. So week 1 is the Mania Madness prize wall. Week 2 is the Countdown to WrestleMania prize wall. Week 3 is the WrestleMania Fallout prize wall. And week 4 is the Cinco de Mania prize wall, which is also why I would like to hope that there's, maybe a new Eddie, just because of the name of week 4 prize wall. But nevertheless, lots of new weekly stuff to touch base on this month. And there's also the Cena things that we were talking about. So it is the Farewell Cena month as well. And that comes with a Farewell Cena tour. A Farewell Tour John Cena moment. So all the Cenas that are here, you have the OG Hustle, Loyalty, Respect, the special edition. The same for the Chain Gangs. You got the Veteran Cena. You got the Ruthless Aggression Powerhouse Cena. And you have, of course, the You Can't See Me Invis Cena. So that's the new moment. It gives defense, damage, move damage, and then silence, heal, and reinforce gems, which is actually helpful for all of the older Cenas. And that is why I was saying that they are better than Eddie, or on par with Eddie, because of that moment. And then last but certainly not least, on the month, and what B-Rock had alluded to a little bit earlier, there is the Cena Mania Blitz. This is a month-long blitz, and you need to have all 4 of these OG Cenas at 6-star gold. So Hustle, Loyalty, Respect, Chain Gang, Veteran, Salute, and Ruthless Aggression all need to be 6-star gold. You do need all 4 of them. My assumption, based on week 1, is that they're going to give you one of the Cenas at 6-star gold for simply doing the free things in the game in the week-long contest. So week 1, they handed out a Ruthless Aggression 6-star gold Powerhouse Cena. That is why, again, on my screen you see that he's 9,000 talent. It's because I fused him up from wherever he was, 3-star, 4-star, whatever, all the way to 6-star gold because they gave one out. I'm expecting that they will continue to do the same and keep that trend for the rest of the month. So you should be able to get all Cenas listed here, all 4 of them at 6-star gold, just by playing the game. And then the Blitz itself will give you 4,000 shards of the special edition Acrobat Chain Gang Ruthless Aggression Cena, which he is a 5,000 shard recruit. The other 1,000 shards you can obtain just by playing the game on the month. So that is an S+ tier. That is a non-Hall of Famer, and that is essentially a free special edition holographic Cena. So lots and lots and lots and lots of new stuff going on this month. I don't really know where to start, but if anyone has anything that they want to talk about in particular, by all means, take it away. I know Chris was mentioning that he's happy Steel Cage is gone. I know that we talked about the armory loot. There's obviously the week-long structure and the prize walls, and B-Rock had already commented on the whole, Cena thing too. So, whatever anyone wants to take this away with, by all means, feel free to go ahead.
Yes, I'll go first. I am just super happy the steel cage rules are gone. Like, I will say, I don't mind them, like, every once in a while, especially, like, on tours, but when they're on everything, it is just grating. It's annoying, and it's just unfortunate because then you don't get to use, like, everything you've earned for your roster. Like,
Right.
It really sucks, you have these great plates, you have these, great coaches, trainers, straps, all that stuff, and you don't get to use them. It's just really irritating, and especially when every event has something like that, you have to be like, oh, now I don't get to use this fun stuff. It just honestly kind of sucks. So I already think this MLC is off to a great start. It's much better than the last one already just because of that. The armory loot, I do think that's an improvement. I still miss the midweek prize wall. I don't know why they thought that change was necessary, but at least they now have improved the armory loots, giving featured pools, all of that sort of stuff. Just talking about Cena a little bit, it is nice they're doing this for Cena, giving him the whole thing, or the whole month, doing all this special stuff for him to celebrate him. And the Blitz actually is pretty cool. I think that's a pretty cool concept, although it does suck having to get all of them to 6-star gold. And because I am impulsive and impatient, I already took them up. I did wait until I got the fuse for, I believe it was Powerhouse Cena, that we got this week. Obviously already had Veteran Salute from the previous month up 6-star gold, but manually taking the old Acro Cena and Showboat Cena up was very, I don't know if disappointing is the right word, but it was hard. Just because even with the improvements, I'm still not going to use them. They're still not great, and I don't want to use them. But thankfully, I did have the resources, and I now have the holographic Acro Cena, for this feud. So that'll be great, having a top line bonus. That doesn't happen often. But overall, I think we're off to a good start this MLC. It looks much better than last month. So I actually have... I'm not going to go high hopes. I think that would be a little bit too much. But I have decent hopes for this month.
I was looking at it and I was like, maybe I could be a real menace just because I feel like messing around, and I'm gonna go ahead and use both Chain Gang Cenas in the top lane, just because why not, right? Like just mess around with it, see what it looks like. Like, let's see if Chain Gang really can do something here. And I was also thinking, like, you know what, maybe I break out Hustle, Loyalty, Respect, right? 2016, start of the game, OG card number 001, right? Like, how great would that be to get a win with that guy against a 6-star gold? So that someone has just spent so much time and effort to take up to the absolute pinnacle of their roster and just watch them get wiped out with Showboat Cena. It's got to be so fun to be able to do that. But yeah, I love the look of this month so far. I really, really do. Whoever else wants to take the table, by all means.
I just want to say, You know, in similar vein of, my game BFF Flex to Don, I don't like the 5-week MLCs that much. So I'm looking forward to what this week by week is going to have in store. But already liking the prize wall. Um, it looks very intriguing. I think anything to kind of breathe a little bit of fresh air into like what's gotten pretty boring, and you know sometimes regular is too regular and it just gets old. I think it's going to be good for the game.
Yeah, I can dig the changes that we got this month big time. I'm thrilled with them.
Oh, I forgot to mention they got me with the weekly prize wall thing and getting the 50% off. They got me. I bought the pro starter pack, which it does turn out, if people don't know, you do get a couple extra options if you buy the 50% prize wall. It added the purple and red rumble plates, the was it Nightmare insignia and Punk's new plate, if I
Yep,
recall correctly, were all added.
that is
Are
correct.
all on that additional prize wall. So hopefully the next couple of weeks we'll have the same sort of thing. So I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah, that is 100% correct. Uh, which I don't think was, again, mentioned anywhere, official at least. But yeah, we found out, and there are definitely some additional items that you can get from getting the Pro Starter Pack for the prize wall. And it's great because it gives you half off on all the prize walls, right? Not just the first one. So again, not to tell anyone they need to spend, obviously, but just something to keep in mind. What is different compared to most months.
And that's one of the things I don't quite get about Scopely. For as much as they push the spending and the spend events, they're not really good at marketing like the things that like would probably more incentivize people to spend.
Yeah, I mean, to me, and again, it might sound a little stupid, but this to go back to the Cena revamps, right?
Mm-hmm.
They were selling all the Cenas at 6-star gold, and yes, it's $100. I get it; it's a lot of money. They were also selling them one off at $30 a piece. If there's someone out there who has their Cena at 3-star silver or 4-star bronze or something, right? Because who in their right mind is taking Cena up besides that, right? He was horrible in the game beforehand. And it's like, yeah, here you go. You can get it for $30. Like, okay, why would I want to do that? But now, if it's like, yeah, by the way, these Cenas also got a revamp. They're actually pretty good. Like, if you could market that, you could make some solid money off of that. But they just don't, which is it's very weird to me too. So you're not alone on that thought at all, Shell.
So I'm gonna jump in here because as good as Scopely does some things, then they turn around and they just stick it to you. So previously, if you bought the $100 Pro Pack, you were able to, with a little bit of work, evolve the free character to 5-star. So there used to be a pack that was in there that gave you, I think it was like 615 evolve tokens,
Okay.
which has been removed. It's not there.
I
It's nowhere to be found.
remember someone talking about that, but and I don't think the same amount of tokens are available, but there are some tokens available, is what I was saying.
There's 100.
There you go.
There's there's only 100. So
Yeah.
you went from 615, and then you had the ability to do that with a little bit of work on the weekend. By the end of Sunday, you were able to take your free character to 5-star, and then you could compete. Then you would be able to compete in those last couple of nodes to get the coin. Now the only way to get the coin is if you pull it. you have to pull Jesse at 5-star or higher, because there's no way for you to manufacture the 5-star, which I've done for months. I've done it every month for the last probably 4 or 5 months. So that is now gone. Outside of that, I will say, another content creator posted a video. Shell went in, snatched up the punk plate, caused me and some others to go in, pull the trigger on that. So, that's a plus. I'm waiting to see what the week to week is, because I'm a little apprehensive, because I think, hey, we came out to shoot on fire with all the stuff that we're able to do. I just don't want the next one to be like, yeah, this was, that was a one time in the beginning. Now the next time it's not going to be as good, and the next time it's not going to be as good, and then we're going to hit you with a great one at the end. So I know you said you're skeptic, same here. So I think those are what's going on currently with the prize wall overall. I would like to say that I'm excited at the way the month is looking. So if the month is gonna be, very similar to this, and the layout for this, absolutely, I'm right on with it. Just please, in 3 months, I don't want to have to do the same thing I did with Cena, with Triple H. Don't run it back with Triple H in 3 months, or run it back with Undertaker in 3 months. Now, I will say that Copley kind of blessed me with bad RNG before, because I already had a 5-star. I had a 6-star gold fuse for Chain Gang Cena. I had one for Vet Cena. I had one for Powerhouse Cena. So I had gotten crap before that turned out to be gold. So I luckily only spent the $29.99 to grab Showboat Cena, and boom, I was done. So
you didn't burn the resources. You spent the money.
Yeah, you know what? I looked at it and I was just like, yeah, my resources can go. It was $30. If I had to spend 100, I would have used the resources. If I didn't have those 3 already set up, I would have literally just kind of, did everything that I needed to do, and wouldn't have worried about the top lane bonus for this feud. But since I had 3 of the 4 already, that was already there, $30, boom, here, it was done.
Gotcha. Well, hey, a win's a win, right?
Absolutely.
But yeah, look, yeah, like Envy said, welcome to the penthouse, B-Rock.
I told you he was already there.
It's only 30. So just so we're clear, just so everybody knows, Chris's roster is higher than mine. Okay, his roster. Huh?
Are you sure?
I am 1000% sure. You're number 5. I'm like number 8.
Yours is higher. I'm looking at it right now. We're both at 13 million, and you are ranked higher in the faction than me for roster strength.
Not a full-time job.
That's because he just lowered his talent, probably. But anyway.
How do you even do that? You can't.
Yes, you can.
Oh no, yeah, both of them are 13 mil. For those of you watching on YouTube, Chris B is co-leader at 13 mil, slightly above B-Rock, who is 13 mil as the leader. So there you go.
That's all I'm saying. So let's not just say B-Rock's in the penthouse. Because
if I'm in the penthouse, you're in the penthouse. We're both in the penthouse.
Mistakes were made. That's all I'm saying. Mistakes have been made in the past.
I mean, you guys. I mean, when you look at the comparison, right? You guys are both definitely in the penthouse, right? I can keep scrolling and scrolling. Like, you guys are up there.
We're nowhere near you two, Bob. Nowhere near
Oh,
you.
come on. Look, you said 13 mil, right? I'm at 13.2 mil. We're neck and neck. We're right there. Right there.
No, we're
B-Rock.
not.
Yeah,
No,
we're
we're
right.
not.
We're right there. What do you mean?
We're not anywhere close.
We're neighbors.
The
What are you talking about? We're not close.
We're not anywhere close.
Well, yeah, we're not. You know, come on. Listen, we're at least on the same floor. We might not be next door neighbors, but come on, we're definitely on the same floor.
No, we're not, because your penthouse is on Fifth Avenue. My penthouse is in West Philadelphia. There's a difference.
Born and raised.
Shell, I don't want to hear it. You're up there with like 16 mil, aren't you?
Hold on, no, wait. I'm standing up for my man B-Rock here and
Oh
pointing
yeah.
out that roster size isn't quite equivalent to like what else you have on your account.
It's
Like
the
I'm
motion
sure
in the ocean.
I'm sure you have much more whaley plates and medals at
I
every
eat
moment
plates.
in the game.
Oh my
I
Medals,
eat
you know.
600,
B-Rock,
600 billion TP.
That is not
B-Rock
true.
definitely has a point.
That is not true. 600,000 TP maybe. Billion no.
There's no way that you have 600,000 of each color.
Okay, but that's still 600,000, not billion. Come on, get your numbers right.
And that's only what's opened.
Yeah.
We're not talking about the 1,000 bags that you have unopened.
You leave my bags alone. They're not. I have an inventory, and I'm proud of it. All right. They ain't
Yes.
taking my inventory from me until they tell me that it's going away.
I was just saying you got to take those things into account too. So we Philly people have to stick together, right, B-Rock?
Thank you. Thank you, Shell.
Yeah. Well, make sure that you step down a few steps over there, Shell. All right. That 3.5 million difference is definitely up there.
I mean,
Breakfast on
I
the
definitely said. Did I say I wasn't in the penthouse? Bro, I am on Park Avenue. Like, I am not. I'm not saying anything. But I'm not one of those penthouse people that look down my nose at the
No.
penthouses in West Philly. No.
Listen, I'm happy where I live. All right, and that's how I'm leaving it.
There you go.
I do not have the presidential suite, Dina. Not at all. Maybe the presidential suite
No.
of 13 million accounts, maybe. But in general, no. Anywho. On to, I guess before we move on, anything else for the monthly? The structure, the blitz, the moment, the prize walls, the armory loot, the steel cage no longer being here. Anything else? Because, I mean, the monthly has a lot in it. And I think a lot of people are excited for what this month has in store, especially when compared to last month, which was not great. So last call on the Viva La Mania MLC.
I guess I'll give my opinions on the month. So the marketing for this month is done by the community. So of course I also fell into that prize wall trap because at first I was saying I'm gonna get it for the half off. I went in saying that, but I had my free pulls. I do my free pull, I get Jesse at 6-star. I say, oh, that just saved me $99. I don't even care about this half price no more. And then I saw the picture from Shell's prize wall with the CM Punk plate. And I said, I gotta get it. Especially if they're giving this out in the first week. Can't imagine what they're gonna give out in week 2, week 3, and week 4. There could be all sorts of goodies. I can get another Yeet plate possibly. Maybe. Hopefully. We'll love it. But there's all sorts of chances that things that can be out there. And then, so I did that. I was 99 down. And then I saw the good stuff on the prize wall, and I watched Merrick's do a pull on something for the midweek to get more prize wall currency. And I said, I'm back in again. So I did that. I did that, and the part that really got me is he nailed like the Austin like 3 times in all sorts of forms and fashions. I was like, oh, well, I can get me a new Austin. Wrong. And that's fine. I didn't get him, but okay. So I said whatever. I got my prize wall currency that I was guaranteed, and that's all I wanted. And I got the purple rumble plate, and I'm back in the game now. So then I saw everybody do the pulls for the weekend. Everybody's playing Alexa, and they almost got me again. But I said, nope, 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 nope. I'm not rich. I'm not rich. I'm not independent. I only got a 12.2 million roster. People say that's big, but it's not. It's not. It's not. Clearly. So I'm holding off. I'm holding strong right now. But I did do some reckless stuff to get the Cena. I paid for the extra blitz because I wanted Cena this weekend. Had to have him. Had to do it. And ultimately this whole month, I'm gonna be excited to hit that Harmony loop. So I'm avoiding the Moments loop only because of what I did to get the Wyatt moment and the Hall of Fame moment. And if I hit those again, I will just be internally pissed on the decisions that I made. And the reason why I don't have Hall of Fame Ron Simmons, because I chose those moments. I could have had Ron Simmons, but I said no, we getting these moments because we need these moments. So the Moments loot is off limits for me, but I'm hitting that Titles loot, and I kind of want to hit the Gear loot. I kind of want to do it, but I just can't convince myself to waste all the coins, because these 6-star medals are out in these streets now. And we're going to find out in a few hours how out in these streets they are, because I can only imagine if we are everybody, the whole lineup, dropping 6-star medals against you when you least expect it. But guess what? Jinder's still going to hit.
I love how you find a way to slide in the Jinder's still gonna hit, and everything that you gotta say there. I mean, look, I agree in terms of like there's gonna definitely be some 6-star medals out there. I cannot convince myself right now to hit the Moments loot or the Gear loot. I just can't rationalize it. These medals are too strong and too necessary in today's day and age of gameplay to continue going on without them, which is amazing to me to see how many people are on board that train. Because when Straps and Medals very first came out, it took about 6 months for people to realize that they should be going after Straps and Medals. I remember when I got a 10% armor strap for Big Kev, that I felt like a king, because it was like with full armor and Honky Tonk Man, I will get 100% armor because I get 10 for the strap, I get 60 for the medal set, and I get 30 for Honky Tonk Man. I'm on the top of the world type of thing here, and that was before people ever used their straps or medals in the first place. So people didn't have damage to counter the armor. They were just so against straps and medals. Like, no, this is part of the new game, and I don't want to do this. I'm just going to play the game that I know how. And now you look at straps and medals, and it's like, you need one for every character. You essentially need one. If you're going to use a character, you pretty much need one. Especially in a competitive game mode. Sure, maybe for a tour where you're fighting a 4-star or 5-star silver opponent as your max opponent, sure, you probably don't need one. But in any competitive game mode, in Showdown, everybody that you're using, they have a strap. In Feud, every single person in your lineup, they got a strap. In Boss, you better damn well believe they got a strap. Everybody is souped up and juiced up. That's just the way of the game now. And it's awesome to me and to see like how much value is being placed on these new medals nowadays compared to what the game was very first surrounded by, which was I just don't want to be bothered with it. And it's like, this is awesome. This is awesome. So yeah, I wanna get as many tier 6s as I can. Right now, I'm still rocking the takedown sets. Part of the Mami's on Top boss battle weekend, they had tier 6 medals as a prize wall item. They were very expensive, but they were there. And I got lucky on my gem damage medal for Fury that was guaranteed, and it's an all gem damage medal. So I finally have a Fury set after all this time with an all gem damage medal. So I can use one set of Fury 3s, and I still haven't decided who in my lineup that's going on, but they're gonna make it to the debut lineup. And honestly, and this is part of what I was talking with B-Rock about, I kind of think that I want to put it on 316 Striker Austin. Like, I'm honestly leaning towards going out of my way to use old school Striker Austin with my first set of Fury 3 medals. Like, that's gonna be fun. But yeah, those medals are top notch. To me, no way that you can avoid them. Just not a thing.
1000% agree. And I wanted to give a shout out to Shell, Kitsu Shell, and one day, I'm vying for the vacant Evo spot at this point, because 2 weeks ago during the podcast she had 7 sets or something ridiculous like that. I had 0. So instead of, I used all of my end of the month armory on the title armory. And now, she probably has more than 7, but I now have 6 full sets.
Jeez.
I have one.
Hey,
Yep,
congrats.
I have 1 full set of armory 2. I have sets of takedown, and I have 3 sets of fury. So I'm sitting good.
Jeez. Man,
Congrats.
I am gonna be late to this tier 6 medal party with how many sets everybody has right now. I definitely have the Fury 3 set, which is nice. I have the takedown set for green, for, I think it's black and red. Yeah, I have a green, a black, and a red takedown set. So my move damage is looking solid, and I still don't have an armor set. I still don't have a singular armor set. I'm so jealous, because I love my armor builds, and I think the game knows it. But that's awesome. That's actually really awesome. Anything else on our monthly before we move on to the Feud weekend that we have right now? Going once, going twice. Sold to the Twisted and Blissed Feud weekend. That is right. Last and certainly not least on our hit list today, it is the Twisted and Blissed Feud weekend. And let me pull that up real quick. The number one thing on my hit list to talk about here is the updated entourage ability for Alexa Bliss Play or Pain. So let me pull that up on the YouTube playback here. So Alexa Bliss Play or Pain got a new 35,000 talent coach. Power gems add another 50% on each attack, and protect gems protect by 50% more. It used to cap out at 25, it now caps out at 50. Some other things that are going down this weekend: if you got Bliss early on day 1 of the contest, there is now a specific MP perk that will give you +2, +4, and +6 starting MP, depending on how many you get out of the tour. The CSS that they have for this contest, they tried to make a little more involved with the A tier characters. So the CSS that you'll see include like Radical Revolutionary and Dirty Dominic Mysterio. So they tried to make some of those CSS a little more friendly. Yes, obviously there's still, the Uncle Howdies in there and all that stuff, but they have tried, I think, to make those CSS a little bit easier to access. And that really only feeds in the solo contest. It doesn't feed in the feud contest, which the feud contest is back now. The 500 million point contest for feud has returned, and it's a male feud. So that's going to be pretty kick-ass, that we get to test out all of the classes, all of the eras besides PG Modern and IOW, and we get to use that with males now instead of females. This is the first time that's happened since the very first time they changed this contest. So for me, this is a huge win. I'd never liked needing to have to use like a ruthless aggression female. I ended up taking up Charlotte for Reality Era, which sure, she's good, but it still wasn't great or enjoyable. The New Gen Era female thing was a huge issue before the party with the 90s MLC. So there was a lot of annoyance with that, whereas this for the male feud feels like it is way more open than it is with the females, because they just don't have enough. That's the nicest way to say this, okay? They just don't have enough females in the game. When you go to your roster and you sort by men, you have over 500 men. You sort by women, you have just barely over 100 women. Okay? It's not enjoyable enough when your pool of characters that you can pick from is about 5 times less than the other one. Like it's like playing your favorite game and then they remake it into, your favorite game version 2, and then version 2 has a roster that is a quarter the size of version 1. Like, you don't enjoy that. You would rather play version 1, right? Whichever one has a larger roster, that's why you want to play it. That's why WWE continues to make games so often that have rosters that include more wrestlers on it, because they enjoy being able to play with those characters. And so that's what I don't like about it. Again, not that it's bad or horrible or anything like that. It's just not as fun. That's all. But anyway, back to the event. The premium prize wall has a yeet plate. The regular prize wall has a yeet plate this weekend, and there's no real steel cage like I was mentioning before, but there is the steel cage bonuses. So for feud, we get these huge gem damage bonuses for color gems and special type gems as well. And the prize wall is actually, to me, fairly awesome this weekend. Not just the yeet plate, for those of you that are chasing one, and not just the straps, which are great here too, that they're giving out 150 straps, and there's the Trickster affiliation strap and Ultimate affiliation straps. So they're giving those out, which is awesome to me. But if you don't have every single character on this wall, the amount of shards that are here is insane. Like, you could pick up 600 Mami shards. You could pick up 250 Howdy shards. You could pick up 250 Punk shards. For people that are still chasing Muscle Man, you could pick up over 350 of those. Over 200 Yeet, over 200 OTC, over 300 Abby the Witch. We were just talking about Revenge Tour Live. There's 350 shards of Revenge Tour Live on this weekend wall. That's over 10% of her recruit point. Jacob Fatu is here. Over 600 shards of Rex Regan. Like, if you don't have every single one of these characters, you should be able to get the majority of these characters. And for those of you that don't have Braun Breaker, Break Everyone, the MP trainer, this is the blue and yellow MP trainer. They're giving you over 1,000 shards available of this guy on the wall. And he's a 2,000 recruit. That's over half of the recruit point for Braun Breaker. Not like a little bit, but like over. It's a hell of a wall, at least to me. For anyone and everyone at any size of roster, you should be able to walk away with something this weekend. So I'm looking forward to it. I don't have the MP perk. I don't have Alexa on day one. That is what it is. The lane bonus, as we've mentioned, includes that special edition John Cena in the top row, which everyone should have gotten for about $5 to get the second Blitz ticket. If you wanted to level up your Cena's week 1 to get him out of the Blitz, and you would be able to use him for this lane bonus, which is awesome that a bunch of people who have probably never experienced top lane before or only gotten it once or twice in their entire time playing the game, they're going to get it for extremely minimal effort this time around. So a huge win of a weekend to me. I'm looking forward to it, tremendously so, and I'm curious what everyone else's thoughts are on the weekend for our final point, the Twisted and Blissed Feud weekend.
So needless to say, I'm excited for Feud. But not only for the gender reasons stated previously, but also I could, should I feel so inclined, get 2 new characters off the prize wall, Umonga and Julius Creed, or I can test my luck in the 7 pool and get something horrible, or I can continue my journey after CM Punk or the original Tail Clapper. But my big disappointment for the weekend is, so in the initial blog they say it's Jey Uso Yeet weekend. Let's get it with Yeet. And then when it comes to the weekend blog, Yeet ain't there, but Seth is. Okay, I'm happy about Seth. I got Seth. But I also had Yeet, and I almost considered taking him up if he wasn't so great already. Almost considered taking him up just for Feud. And if I would have took him gold, although he's going in there eventually, I would have been pissed that they pulled him. I thought this was the MPO Feud. But they left the original Tail Clapper in, who I don't have, but they took the Yeet out. And if you're going to leave something in, you got to leave the Yeet in.
So,
that's all I got to say about it.
So what exactly am I missing that they took out Yeet?
So if you look at the original blog for the Contest Superstars, the Contest Superstars listed were John Cena's Chain Gang, and then you put the special edition on that. Bray Wyatt, Muscle Man, Bo Dallas, Uncle Howdy, CM Punk, Voice of the Voiceless, Jey Uso, Yeet, Roman Reigns, the original Tail Clapper, and Dexter Lumis, Mercy the Buzzard. That was the original list under the Contest Superstars for Factor Feud weekend on 4/12. Only one missing is Jey Uso Yeet.
And OTC.
No, OTC's still in. They left him in. They leave the OTC in. Tails will get clapped, just not by me.
I don't see them leaving OTC in, did they? No, they didn't leave.
CSS?
No.
He's not?
No.
You sure?
So I'm looking at it right now. So John Cena's here, Muscle Man is here, Howdy's here, CM Punk is here, and Mercy is here. So they took out Yeet and OTC, and they put in
Dom.
Dirty Dom and Radical Revolutionary. So that's part of what I was talking about before, is that they included the A-tier Chase superstars from before to make it easier for everybody. So let me get this straight, Edvi. You're upset that we got A tiers instead of S+ tiers as our CSS.
I just got Yeet. I hadn't yeeted the whole time, and just when I get them, they pull it out. I mean, leave it in for me at least.
Envy, I don't think, first off, I need somebody to clip that. Second, I don't think that they could just do that for you and you alone. They would need to do that for everybody. And I call me crazy. I think a lot of players are way more happy that they get to use Seth or Dom over Yeet, which they probably don't even have.
It's not about over. It's talking about leave everything in. We wanted to leave it in for not only the people that do but don't have, and put some extra in. So you sometimes you say, give me more. I need a little bit more for you to put in, not pull out and put in something else. No, leave it in.
Envy, please. Please. We're talking about Feud CSS here, for the love of God.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh my God. No, it is not. Anybody else on this weekend before I lose it? Yeah, no one wants to follow that one up, huh?
follow it. I don't care. I am getting Mami Rhea this weekend off that prize wall. I am only 300 shards short, so I am getting that. So I will be ecstatic by the end of this weekend because
Hell yeah.
I tried so hard to get her last weekend and it just didn't happen. So I'm happy I can get her now.
That's a huge win. I love it. Congrats to you,
So-
Chris.
I just wanted. I was a little lost there. So from what I understand, Chris is getting Mami. Envy wants to leave it in, as opposed to taking it out. And he doesn't yeet, or he just is able to yeet now. I'm confused. I thought we were talking about CSS.
Yeah, me too. But
I'm
don't
just
don't
saying.
don't you know better than this, B-Rock? Aren't you part of the NPO crew or something like that?
What's the MPO?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Bob. What's the MPO?
What's
Nothing.
MPO, Bob?
Tell us
Nothing.
about it.
Nothing at all. In fact.
Okay. Well, I'm going to say this. I rarely like go all in. I think this feud, I'm going all in. Just to see what I'm able to work with under the new criteria. See how
Okay.
fast I can get the 10 colors, the 6 classes. See how fast I can get that done, and just really try to go in. Unfortunately, I do work tonight.
Yep.
But so the last 2 feuds, believe it or not, I didn't hit 500, and then the one where it was, I believe it was 300, I was at like 280. The next, I just want to see, hey, let's bring out the big guns because it's not as restrictive as most are. The only downside is I don't have a 6 silver Bray.
Okay.
So that's going to hurt a little bit. Unless I take Fiend up, which I might just do just for the feud, just to get the bonus. But we'll see.
Yeah, I caved. I think I had a Muscle Man fuse up and went ahead and used that to take him up for a feud. But yeah, I mean, this lineup is looking awesome. I'm looking forward to it. I think with my lineup that I have, I'm going to be able to knock out all of the requirements. So, the new Cena is Ruthless Aggression Acro. As we've talked about numerous times, I have Striker Austin here for Striker Attitude. I have Powerhouse Hogan for Powerhouse Legend. I have Dudenator Sammy for New Gen Showboat. I have Hall of Fame JBL for Hall of Fame Trickster. Regal is Reality. Julius is Technician. I got Muscle Man in there because he's the requirement, and no matter what Envy says, I still have Jey Uso Yeet in my lineup, whether he's required or not, because he's just that damn good. So yeah, it's looking like a great lineup for me. Once the CSS are over, I might take Regal out and put somebody else there, or I might work my way down to a 5 or a 6-man lineup, and just mess around with it. But it's looking like a great weekend for Feud. Shell, take us home.
Okay. I'm like B-Rock. I have to work tonight and tomorrow. So I'm gonna do what I can. I generally like the multi CSS, like, the era and the classes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm a little weird, but
No,
I
I
like
love
the
that
extra.
too.
I like it. And I especially like it that it's not like an overwhelming amount of each. Like, just what they drop it down to 6?
Yeah, 6 and
for
10.
that. 6 and 10. So I was like, okay, I can do this. This is cool. I like it. And you made valid points when they do that women versus male. Like, like I'm like you. Like, we have stacked women's rosters, but it still doesn't make it any more fun when the characters in certain eras are still kind of crap.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to this. You know, I'm hoping to get out of work at a decent time and get home and get some feuding in because I enjoy it.
Yeah, it'll be
I just gotta,
a fun weekend.
gonna be good. I gotta look out for Southside Evie in the streets so I could tag up with him and get some Jinder tag team going.
Envy, thoughts on the Jinder tag? So impressive you can't
I
even think about it.
can't wait.
Well, any parting words from anybody before we close up the podcast? I think that was a good one so far.
So real quick, if this is something that's available, I'm gonna say, B-Rock and Chris Breezy. I think we need to team up and go hunt some TNM.
Why? So you can slow me down in feud?
Yes. You see this? You see this? I give him props. I'm supportive, and he takes shots.
You give props, he takes shots. That's how it works.
He will never let Super Stacy go, ever.
I mean, yeah.
Wait, what about Super Stacy?
That's that. You remember that feud? You were like, "Come on, hurry up!" I'm like, "Yo, she sucks." I have to use Super Stacy. It's the only one I have to use.
You could have used her in a different match.
So
Not against like a 6-star gold where it takes forever.
So yeah, I caved and I took up not only Super Stacy to 6-star bronze, but recently took up Molly Holly to 6 bronze. I think I might even take Molly to 6 gold and just use her with her purple and yellow moveset. Because
you showed me that, and that's the plan for me next time I have to use
Ruthless Aggression female.
Ruthless Aggression, yeah.
Yeah, because it's just tough. That's what we were all talking about, right? Like that's why I took Charlotte to 6 gold. Like all the reality era females are just not good, other than Charlotte. And like New Gen became great with Asuka, but before that it was only Alundra. So like it's just a task, right? It really becomes a true task to get it all done when you don't have someone that you can kind of just blaze through with. And yeah, I mean, look, Molly Holly isn't going out there and crushing 200 mil, but she's getting the job done, right? And it's not, I'm not sitting here and looping a 1 million damage finisher, with Super Stacy 16 times to get through a 6-star bronze or a 6-star silver, right? Like, yeah, that's a horrible experience. But yeah, I mean, look, anything else from anybody else on our podcast before we close it up?
All right, I have to ask. I've been wondering the whole time.
Go for it.
What's with the Jinder love?
Oh yeah, go on, Envy. Let's let the people know, why does Envy love Jinder Mahal?
Oh, we're running it back from last week. So, like I said, there was a time back when we used to be able to out these characters, and I believe it was the 4-star level that I got to use Jinder on. And his gameplay for me was so fun. And you could call as a trainer at the time, and nobody used Carl Anderson, but Jinder could. And it was going to be a great place to Anderson on. So I was like, oh man, this Jinder's kind of fun. So when I started being in the comments of all the content creators, trying to get people to do a video on Jinder, to everybody, I threw it out to everybody, and nobody would bite until Merrick's bit that one time, and he was like, "Okay, Jinder's kind of." So then, when we got the 6-star, I had all these shards of Jinder, and I said, "You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take Jinder 6-star. Ain't nobody doing this out in these streets," and I took him up. And everybody was shocked. And then Boss Battle came out, and wouldn't you know, Jinder was out in these Boss Battle streets, and that's why they took the trap gems out of Boss Battle for a while, because they was like, oh man, we seen Jinder hitting him. You seen how high TNM was back in the day, and that was because Jinder was out there putting in that work. And Then Jinder took a brief hiatus because 6-star gold was required in these boss battle streets, and that was a big task to do. But then they broke out the Jinder plate, and when they got that Jinder plate on, it was Jinder time. Evo took Jinder up to 6-star gold to show me how good he was. I said, "Oh, we got some action now." So, but I still wasn't ready. Then the anniversary came, and they put that trap plate on these streets, and oh man, that was that dope. So I didn't have a chance to get it at the time. I chose the moments over the trap plate. I said it'll come back around, but it came back around last month, and I got it. And oh boy, I was already maxing talent up. I said we doing this today. Took him up. Didn't have that top lane, but this weekend, you gonna see Jinder out in these streets, and it's gonna be problems.
And his excitement is so infectious that I'm a good friend, and I'm easily influenced. So I joined the Jinder train.
So there you go, Chris. That's the history of that's the history of Jinder. I don't even know what else to say besides that.
Yeah, which one's the Jinder plate? I've never heard a plate called the Jinder plate.
So supposedly in the game they call it timeless style, and some people refer to it as a Tiffy plate, but no, that is the Jinder plate. You do these purple moves, you make that blue gem damage get harder, and just know this feud, that blue gem damage is getting even harder and harder and harder.
Oh my god!
Don't hinder the Jinder, the modern day Maharaja. Dishing out that work.
And listen, I definitely have worse 6-star golds on my account than Jinder Mahal.
Can we rename it the NPO plate?
Yeah, because you're gonna be leaving him in the lineup when you will not pull Jinder out of your lineup when you got that plate. That's what I'm gonna tell you.
Plate.
Oh my god!
I'm all in for the NPO plate.
Well, I think that's as good of a place as ever to call the podcast. For those of you that listened in until the very end, you're welcome.
I'm just saying, we're gonna be yeeting all over this feud.
Oh my god!
Yeah, we will.
Yeah, this is what
I have my OTC.
This is what I deal with. Well, thank you all for showing up. I think. Appreciate it. B-Rock and Envy, the two of you never cease to amaze me. Shell, thank you for being such a good friend to Envy as well. And, Chris, huge shout out to you for being normal here. Really couldn't thank you enough. That's awesome to have at least one normal person in the group. Anyway, that's going to be it for this podcast. So that's it for Volume 15. We'll be back in 2 weeks with Volume 16. That'll be taking place on the 26th of April. We'll be more into this Viva La Mania month, and hopefully we can see what the rest of it's got in store for us. I believe by then the special edition Hustle, Loyalty, and Respect John Cena should be out, so we could give some feedback there. But that'll be it for this one. So until next time, everybody, have a good one.